The offseason for San Francisco has been two main talking points. First, the quarterback problem, and secondly, what the 49ers are going to do on their offensive line and how it's going to perform this upcoming year, with plenty of articles being written about why the Niners' offensive line simply won't be good enough, not even good enough to allow the 49ers to repeat their NFC championship run. The biggest point of speculation on the Niners' offensive line has to be the right tackle position, which is kind of absurd because many fans, frankly, didn't like Mike McGlinchey the whole entire time he was with the Niners. But now that he's gone, they're freaking out. A brief recap, Mike McGlinchey left via free agency to the Denver Broncos. This leaves the 49ers looking both inwards and outwards to fill the right tackle position. Someone they brought in via free agency is Matt Pryor, but maybe someone that's actually going to seize this job is Colton McKivitz. In this video, I hope to break down the competition between Matt Pryor and Colton McKivitz and look at the potential winner, in my opinion's career up to this point, and see what they're actually going to offer the Niners athletically, what scouts have been saying about them their whole entire career, and really, do the Niners have a problem at right tackle? But before we jump right into this video, I do want to mention this is part of a bigger series, so I'll go ahead and link the start of this series at the end of this video. It dives into the Niners' offensive philosophy as well as their coach Chris Foerster and what he's accomplished across the entire NFL. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the competition between Matt Pryor and Colton McKivitz. The first thing we need to talk about before we get right into this competition is what the Niners actually value in their offensive tackles. And we need to look no farther than their left tackle, Trent Williams. He has freakish athleticism, he has the smarts, really everything you want. But realistically, you can't get away with paying to Trent Williams and having Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and players like that on your offense. So overall, I would say the Niners value a tackle who has agility in the run game, but also is adequate in the pass game, which is where Mike McGlinchey would struggle at times. He was great in running games, but often we get thrown over in the pass game. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at Matt Pryor versus Colton McKivitz by first looking at their athletic profile. Colton McKivitz was selected by the Niners back in 2020 in the 5th round, pick 7. He was 6'6", 306 pounds. His arm length is almost 34 inches. He ran his 40-yard dash in an impressive 5.35 seconds and a 10-yard split of 1.8 seconds. That's really great, and I think that's more than adequate for Kyle Shanahan's offense. In comparison, Matt Pryor was bigger at his NFL combine, coming in at 6'7" and 330 pounds about, but was much slower in his 40-yard dash, running that in around 5.6 seconds and his 10-yard split in 1.98 seconds, according to NFL combine results. In this breakdown, comparing Colton McKivitz and Matt Pryor, we see that Matt Pryor is a bigger tackle prospect, but does suffer athletically speaking in comparison to Colton McKivitz. And since the Niners offense relies heavily on the athleticism of their offensive tackle, and since Colton McKivitz has been in this complicated offense for several years now, I do envision him taking over. Furthermore, during this offseason, Chris Foerster, the Niners offensive line coach, has come out and spoke about his belief in Colton McKivitz, saying that he's already giving Colton McKivitz the vote of confidence, saying it's his job to lose going into this last offseason. This does a couple of things. The first and most important thing is give a vote of confidence to your new starting player. He did this to Aaron Banks and Jake Brendel, and the results of those players are phenomenal, considering, frankly, many fans had little to no faith in both of those players performing as well as they did. So, with the conclusion of Colton McKivitz starting seeming like an inevitable, the question then becomes, how will Colton McKivitz actually perform? And we have some data from his time in the NFL, but it'll also be helpful to examine his career as a whole. But let's go ahead and start with his most meaningful snaps in Week 4 of the 2022 season. According to Pro Football Focus, he did fantastic during this game, putting up a pass blocking grade of 87.3, surrendering 0 pressures. Another indicator of Colton McKivit's great pass protection came in 2020 when the Niners played the Buffalo Bills. During this game, the Niners gave up 0 sacks. So while those are some of Colton McKivit's highlights in the NFL, we need to also examine his football career up to this point to get a better grasp of what type of player he actually is. Colton McKivitz was born in Belmont, Ohio, and started his football career at East Richland Christian High School and then transferred to Union Local High School. As a senior, McKivitz was named First Team All-Ohio. He was a 3-star recruit according to 24/7 Sports, playing both on the defensive line and offensive line. He received offers from Miami of Ohio, West Virginia, Archon, Bowling Green, Kent State, Marshall, and Toledo. Ultimately, McKivitz decided to go to West Virginia, where he was a Mountaineer from 2015 all the way to 2019. And while McKivitz started his freshman season as a redshirt, he became the Mountaineers' starting left tackle 4 games into his redshirted freshman season, after the starter tore his ACL. McKivitz started his final 10 games of that season. His sophomore year saw McKivitz move from left tackle over to right tackle. He started all 13 games this year, earning honorable mention All Big 12 Conference honors. The next year, McKivitz started all 12 games for the Mountaineers, and he moved back to left tackle his senior season and was named First Team All Big 12, the Big 12 Co-Offensive Lineman of the Year, and a second team All-American by Walter Camp and the Associated Press's third team. So a boatload of accomplishments his senior year, but I would argue maybe the most impressive thing about Colton McKivit's game isn't all of these awards he received, but really his versatility. He played both left and right tackle, and while many people think it's the same position, it's actually really hard to switch up your stance because it's literally the exact opposite. So it takes a while to have the versatility to play both positions. And Colton McKivitz, frankly, has versatility all across the entire NFL line. So with that being said, Colton McKivitz did wrap up his college football career in 2019 with all those awards I previously mentioned. This gave scouts the opportunity to dive a little bit more deeply into Colton McKivit's game, see what he did well as some of his weaknesses. And this may be a good indicator of what he may struggle with on his first year starting full-time with the Niners. So when scouts first started diving into Colton McKivit's game, his strength definitely became obvious right away. And that's the type of fight and aggression he has in him in the run game. You'd often see him driving his opposing player into the floor and getting under their skin. Furthermore, he had a great ability to double team and get up to the next level, which is a vital piece of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Furthermore, as his numbers so far in the NFL would suggest, he had a good ability to have well-balanced pass sets. However, there were weaknesses to Colton McKivit's game, such as his shorter arm length, his lack of initial pop according to the NFL scouts, and he has power that was left to be desired. However, the Niners saw Colton McKivitz a little bit differently and even dubbed him the Gold Helmet Player of that draft, which is a rare designation the Niners give to certain players in their NFL draft process. Other players include Talanoa Hufanga and Trey Lance. And with the Gold Helmet Player still on the board in round 5, pick 7, the Niners decided to go ahead and swoop on the opportunity and picked up Colton McKivitz in the 2020 NFL Draft. So with that being said, we have gone over Colton McKivit's NFL career highlights up to this point, so we won't go over that again, but we do need to compare how he's going to play in comparison to his predecessor, Mike McGlinchey. And here's the thing, I actually expect Colton McKivitz to be a better pass blocker in the NFL in comparison to Mike McGlinchey. McGlinchey struggled at points, and I think frankly, McKivitz is a better pass blocker, which I think is more important in the NFL offense that's moving more and more pass heavy every year. But he may struggle a little bit in comparison to Mike McGlinchey, who was just flat out dominant in the run game. I don't think it's going to end up being a huge deal, and ultimately, I do think that Colton McKivitz is going to see a high level of success like guys like Jake Brendel, Aaron Banks, and even Spencer Burford. And the big reason I have so much faith in Colton McKivitz is the Niners offensive line coach, Chris Forrester. And if you guys haven't caught my video about Chris Forrester and his offensive line philosophy, I'll go ahead and link it right here. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, it would mean a ton if you liked and subscribed.